more thing, and then we're gonna wrap up. One of the points that you and I jotted this down because I love this bounce back ability.
Oh, BBA.
Yeah,
BBA.
I know you like that. Talk to us a little bit about what does bounce back ability mean,
right?
And apply that in the direct sales world.
Okay. Well, honestly, bounce back ability is that we as women, we're emotional beings. So I'm just going to put it out there.
That's
we are,
fine.
okay?
Right,
we are emotional beings.
Right.
We can be up there, around, down, we're like this sometimes.
Right.
But in business, we have to learn to work from discipline and not emotions.
Right.
So, and sometimes until we learn that, we can let our emotions get away, and, we can feel so deflated. We could talk to, get 5 no's in a row, and then all of a sudden we're like,
Right.
this is not working. Why did I ever
Right.
decide to do this and
Right.
everything else? You've got to learn to master the art of, yes, you can have, lack of a better word, you can have a little pity party for a second.
Right.
But you got to learn to bounce back, get up on that horse,
Right.
get up on that bike,
Right.
and go again.
Right.
And you have to find out the little things that's going to help to motivate yourself to be able to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's, and I know this sounds kind of silly, but, maybe that's rewarding yourself with, whatever, a piece of cake or something.
I like ice cream.
Yeah, or ice cream.
I like the chocolate chip mint, by the way, from Kroger.
Kroger's chocolate chip mint.
Yeah.
You reward yourself
Right.
after doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
Or if you get 10 no's in a row, then you can have your ice cream.
Right.
You have to find out the little things that's going to work for you. But
Right.
bounce back ability is so important because especially, let me put it this way. If you're doing this as your sole income
Right.
and you don't have another job to
Right.
rely on,
Right.
you have got to learn the art of being able to get over things quickly.
Right.
You have to learn to compartmentalize.
Right.
And John Maxwell actually says, last night ended at midnight.
Right.
So we really have to move forward day by day and look for the good in each day that we have and be able to move past what has stopped us before. And the bounce back ability is so we're not, sitting there, woe is me, and we're not becoming a victim, but we're becoming a victor and being able to move forward in our business again, because the whole thing goes back to being the person, being the business that people are looking for.
Another point.
So if I walk around, Brian, like,
Right.
They just told me no.
Right.
And I can't get over that.
Right.
And how in the world are you going to lead anybody else? How are you going to mentor them? Or it's kind of like kids. I'll put it to a kid analogy.
Sure.
How many times is, if you have a niece or nephew or a child tells you no for something, you mentor kids in basketball.
I just smack them around and they're fine.
So that's it.
Right, right.
But that's kind of like, in essence, what we need to do to ourselves.
Right.
We get told no different things, or we don't necessarily like, the results that we got or whatever. We need to kind of like maybe smack ourselves around just a little bit, wake up and get back on, back on track and get it done. Because the more in direct sales, the more you allow to affect you right now, what happens is it's reciprocal. So what I do today affects me 2 to 3 weeks down the road.
Right.
And especially in direct sales, that is so critical. And I think sometimes people, when they come in, they don't realize that off the bat.
Right.
So you've got to have that bounce back ability.
That is awesome. When we were talking about that before the show, I was telling you a little bit about the story in golf. They actually have a statistic that's for that. So, professional golfers, you have, you go out and you play the holes and stuff like that, and the lower the score, the better, right? And what happens is you have 18 holes. And if you get a bogey, which is a bad, one over par, you get a bogey, they actually have a statistic that says out of the next hole after a bogey, okay, what is the score that you hit? And they rank order. I think there's 150 PGA players that have their tour card. That may or may not be right, but it's something like that. And it's 125 actually. And when you're doing that, and they have a rank order of those things, and when you told me that, like I was saying, we were talking about this off the air, that bounce back ability as a direct salesperson, what does that look like? That means if someone says no, you got to get back in the game.
Right.
Maybe you take, I remember we do events and stuff all the time. We do events together, and I do events myself. Yeah. And, I remember we had an event one time, and I was just, oh my gosh. I still remember sitting in the car, my wife was driving. I went in the car, we just didn't make any money. I mean, and it was like,
you probably felt kind of defeated.
and it was a problem too. Okay, and then the money that we did make, she by accident she lost it.
Oh no!
And my wife doesn't lose anything. I mean, if you called her now and asked her to go through her closet, she could tell you, well, it's next to the black pants with the thing, and you'll be good to go. So, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to have that, ability to be able to bounce back from that, and be in good shape. Right. So I am totally with you. Well, Deb, that